Look.
Look.
Boo! Welcome to Jumpscared. My name is Slimebeast, and I'm here with David King
Hey guys, it's me again.
and Emma, who has
I-
no last name.
I don't have a last name actually. It's kind of unfortunate.
It's just
She
Emma
she was-
and then a deep breath. That's it.
Yep.
she was literally spawned from the ether for the sake of doing voices and artwork for my channel.
Ooh, interesting. She's
He,
your
he
tulpa.
summoned me. Yeah.
She is my tulpa.
I've been summoned, and honestly, I'm a little bit peeved about it. So.
Well,
It's probably why.
what were you doing otherwise before you were created? I mean, really. So,
Honestly,
you know,
chilling out in the void.
true. Left a kettle on. But yeah,
void. Hail
So-
Sithis.
tonight's topic is cryptids. Creepy cryptids. Cool cryptids. Our favorite cryptids. What are cryptids? Look it up if you don't know.
Cryptids are cool, man.
That's
I
right.
literally just did that.
Hey. But yeah, cryptids are things that probably don't actually exist, like Bigfoot, etc. and so forth, that people claim to see and know all about and be experts in. And more power
Yep.
to them.
There are so-called experts in a lot of these creatures, and they have a hard time finding them, but they go out and do it anyway because by gum, they need to prove that they're right.
The experts themselves are cryptids.
You know what? There's a topic right there. We should talk about our favorite cryptid hunters.
Oh, wow.
God. Like
I don't-
literally anyone who comes on Sci-Fi or Discovery Channel.
Yeah, that's great.
that is
Sure.
entertaining to watch.
I'm sure
Jeez.
everybody would love that topic.
Yeah, that would be... put in the comments below who your favorite cryptid hunter is. Is it Jawless Joe Slackmore? Is it... But yeah.
Is
So,
it
yeah,
Ted
I
the
mean-
Caver?
Justin Bieber?
Ted the Caver.
Oh, he said Justin Bieber.
I would watch a show where Justin Bieber went looking for cryptids.
Today, we're looking for the Bigfoot, yo. Oh, majestic
I'm going-
creature and shit.
Baby, where are you?
Oh, where are you?
Oh, man. I'm going to go up in the chopper and try to spit on it, but yeah. So,
Aw.
who would like to go first telling us what their favorite cryptid is? Would that be possibly David?
Well, you have put me on the spot.
Yes.
Once again.
What are you going to say? No?
He volunteers as tribute.
We have,
Well-
we have to give Emma time to prepare, too, since...
Okay, well then in that case, I'll go, then you'll go,
Right,
then Emma will go.
right.
Okay, so there's a lot of good ones out there. This is actually pretty cryptic, I guess. I don't know. And you know, there's a lot of fantastic ones. I had considered the Wendigo. I do like the Wendigo. It's a pretty neat spirit entity that I don't know how much it qualifies as a cryptid, because even though it's existed in legends for like eons, like I'm not sure how much supposed hard evidence there is for its existence. I mean, you look at stuff like, you look at Bigfoot, for example, and there's a lot of quote unquote evidence for Bigfoot's existence.
True.
Footprints and recordings and video and stuff. I don't know if there's such a thing exists for the Wendigo.
Well, I was going to ask you, is your favorite the Wendigo or the Burger King to go or the McDonald to go? I mean,
What about the Kentucky Fried Chick to go?
Kentucky Fried Chick to go.
Did you ever see those stories that used to circulate that said, like, the reason they call it KFC and not Kentucky Fried Chicken is because the things they serve you aren't actually chicken?
And they don't come from Kentucky. Ah,
Oh,
no.
yeah. There's some sort of, like, horrible mutant hybrid that is specifically bred for the sake of being eaten by
And for
Colonel
some
Sanders
reason-
minions.
Yeah,
Did
I was
we
going to say,
create
for
a new
some reason,
cryptid?
each one has Colonel Sanders' facial hair.
Oh gosh, no. Oh. You just get a piece of chicken and it's just got the facial hair on it.
Wearing a little
It's like,
bow tie. Oh, man.
Oh no.
But
But-
yeah, so we kind of derailed, I guess, a little bit, but that's fine because
That's fine. That's
It's
what
no
this
big
is all
deal.
about, right? That's how
Right.
Jumpscared works, right?
Right.
Yeah. But no, the Wendigo is not my personal favorite, although it is pretty high on my list. I am going to go with the incredibly predictable answer and say, actually, it's the Jersey Devil.
Of course. Everybody out there watching this knew what you were going to pick.
Oh yeah, I did.
I'm curious. How?
Psychic ability?
You
Maybe?
literally just told me. So
You jerks.
Uh,
Anyway, no, I've done my work. Here's the thing. When I was a kid, I had this big book, one of those big fancy books that was like Mysteries of the Unexplained, you know?
right.
yes.
And I used to dig through that book, and they had a whole thing about cryptids. And one that always stuck out to me was they had that drawing that everybody knows of the Jersey Devil that makes it look kind of like it's like a horse-like creature. It's got like a weird, like camel-esque head and these bat wings and hooves, and it's not a very like intimidating looking drawing, but it always stuck out to me, going like, oh man, I would hate to run into that.
Right. Almost like
And-
the old pen and ink drawings of like dragons in the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
Before they actually became what they are now.
Well, that's very interesting because apparently, according to what I've read about it, when the the native people who used to live in the Pine Barrens or supposedly had legends of this creature going back a ways, and they used to call some parts of the Barrens like something that had to do with like a lair of like place of the dragon or something like that. So. But of course, who knows how much of that was bastardized by, the white man? So,
Well, I believe Dragon's Lair was based on that, right?
yes. Well, because you go in and the Jersey Devil's there threatening Princess Daphne. You know? So, So the reason I think the Jersey Devil is interesting is because it's a very distinct looking creature, and the fact that it's got some of the origin stories give it sort of a witchcraft kind of angle, because inherently supernatural origin, which I find
just looking at it, you can be like, oh, well, yeah, probably witchcraft.
it looks kind of like a homunculus,
Kill me.
Head of camel, wing of bat.
According to the story and that exists, one of the possible origin stories for the Jersey Devil, Mother Leeds, who lived in the area, had 12 children, and there was a story that said that, and there was a rumor that said that if she had a 13th child, that child would be the child of the devil and would be born a monster. So some stories say that Mother Leeds didn't know that this was going to happen. Some say that she actually, was a witch and that she was impregnated by the devil. But on a dark and stormy night, surrounded by all of her 12 other children and the father, she gave birth to this horrible creature, which tore a bunch of them apart and then flew up the chimney.
Rad.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Reverse Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
The devil apparently is a good lay.
Well, if you were to guess, you would probably assume so.
I
Well-
mean,
Well, you gotta wonder if Mother Leeds is like, she gave birth and it was horrible, and someone looks at her and she was like, it was so worth it.
Jeez. I just pictured a husband standing next to her and going, I don't think that was mine.
I am not the father.
Oh,
I'm
man.
pretty sure I don't have a winged camel in my ancestry anywhere.
That's
Oh,
true.
he gets that from you.
Clearly you're responsible here. By the way, does the milk? Maybe I have to question the milkman about that.
Oh.
The camel milkman.
Milkman just peels off its face, and it's like the Jersey Devil or the devil, and it's just like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Well, I think part of why I like the Jersey Devil is because, ever since then, it's said to have, stalked the Pine Barrens, and it flies around at night. It's got red eyes, and people keep claiming to see it. And because it has that distinctly supernatural origin story to it, they say it often haunts this area around where it was born, which is the ruins of this house somewhere in the woods, supposedly where, the Leeds family lived. Now, it's entirely possible, and in fact, distinctly possible, that the reason the Leeds family got this story based on them is that they were considered politically and morally evil, and this was a whole slander campaign against them.
You don't see too much of that these days. Barack Obama fathered a fish child that eats fishermen off the side.
But the thing is, I mean, actually, I was about to say, how often does it persist that Obama is the Antichrist?
Well, that's true.
Except for in like the like National Enquirer and magazines like that. And then I realized, but there are some people out there who pretty distinctly believe that.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how much. I think it's just as prevalent now as it was back then. These stories, because now the internet has made it possible. For a while, people were logical, and then the internet gave silly people a voice.
That's right.
Oh, the internet.
All of a sudden, one silly person registers 5 accounts, and you think 5 people believe it. So you give it credit.
All of a sudden, like 3 people get together in a Skype call and talk about their favorite cryptids, and then,
ugh, gross.
I know, right? But anyway, and I just find it really interesting. Like the Pine Barrens are pretty creepy on their own when you think about it. Like they're just these big swaths of woodland. You can imagine going out in there at night and like wondering if a cloven hoofed horror is going to jump out of the bushes at you, and it's like, I don't know. I just think the Jersey Devil as an image is a really cool cryptid.
Well, I mean, there was a time when I was on a camping trip and a cloven-foot horror came out. Oh, you said horror. Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Didn't you write about that once?
Yeah, it was called What I Did on My Summer Vacation. Yeah.
Did you at least get a gold
Class
star
project.
for writing that?
I got a gold pentagram, actually.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know they were giving those out these days.
Yeah, Mrs. Leeds, my teacher, was... Wait a minute. But yes.
Yeah.
So
I think if anybody, I wonder, it makes you wonder what the parents were going to name the Jersey Devil.
maybe that's its legal name.
Oh, the Jersey?
Yeah.
The Jersey Devil Leeds?
Yeah.
Just looking at the Jersey Devil thing on the wiki article itself, and how it's described to have a blood-curdling scream. I don't know if you guys were ever been to forested regions, but if you hear like a pack of coyotes, because I grew up in Hampshire and like out in the middle of the woods, and there was nothing out there except for coyotes.
Yeah.
But if you hear that kind of stuff, it sounds like somebody's being murdered.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up. So it's not too hard to think that, oh, maybe it is some horrible bat monster goat person leaving footprints.
You never know.
Yeah.
Not too hard at all.
It's not much of a stretch of the imagination. And when you hear, we have coyotes here too, where I am, and you hear them going and carrying on in the night, and it's a little intimidating.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Don't go out there.
No, they will eat you, just like they eat all the neighborhood cats.
That's right.
Usually I see a lost cat sign around here, and I go,
well,
by a coyote.
Yeah, I mean, let that be a lesson to everybody listening to this. Keep your cats indoors at night.
Jeez.
If not all the time.
If you have an outdoor cat, just make sure they come in during the night. And
right.
If you have an outdoor cat, that cat has got to be badass.
Remember Jacques Kitty?
Oh, Jacques Kitty.
She was an outdoor cat. She didn't get eaten by a coyote, from what I saw. She was hardcore as fuck.
She was too pure for this world.
Did you have like the tattooed on eyebrows?
Yeah, I guess. She was a black cat, so that's probably why. Like she would just look at them and they'd be like, "Oh no, let's not mess with that."
She was a being made of pure thunderclouds.
And you could tell because of the way she meowed,
So, you've actually created your own cryptid.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Jacques Kitty.
Jacques Kitty is a cryptid.
Although I was also looking up local cryptids, and California's got a few. We have our Bigfoot sightings every so often, but I found out about one called it's like the Northern California ghost deer.
Yo, what?
Yeah, it's apparently this huge gray elk with like a dozen different points on its antlers.
Ooh.
And when people have shot at it, the bullets have seemed to pass right through it with no harm.
Because you'd be able to see a bullet passing through at bullet speed.
Well, I can only take so much of it seriously because there's only so much information. But hunters have been trying to bag this deer for ages, but it's apparently
so cool
in a specific part of Northern California. And I thought it was really awesome. And I'm like, I wish there was more information, but that's literally all I could find.
Well, That's all you can find because that's all it wants you to find.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Its cloven hooves are gently editing the Wikipedia article from its
Delete.
cabin in the woods.
It's like that deer with the hands from Adventure Time.
Oh, it
Ooh.
just takes off its hooves.
Well, so yeah, my pick is the Jersey Devil, and
Sounds
that's why. What about you, Slimy?
Well, my pick, which is a bit devil-like, I suppose, is the Australian Aboriginal folklore creature, and I'm probably going to massacre the name, but it's Yara for short. But for long, it's Yara Ma Yahoo,
Ooh.
and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
We have an
Probably not.
Australian friend we can ask.
Oh yeah, sure. Just go up and ask. Have you ever heard Yara Ma Yahoo? Have you ever heard of that? And he'll give you a stone cold look and go, "Yes, I've seen it." But yeah.
We'll go up and be like, yeah,
Them and drop bears.
drop it.
Funny you should mention.
Hey, have you heard of Lego My Ego? Is that what it was called again?
What?
No, I'm just messing. Carry on. That joke went over everybody's head.
Lego My Ego. Sure.
So what is this thing?
All right, the Yara is a diminutive red creature with little suckers on its fingertips
Oh,
that it uses to suck the blood out of people.
oh my god, it sounds adorable.
Oh wow.
It's a little tiny little red dwarfy guy that goes around and drops out of trees,
Drop bears.
usually fig trees, mind you, for some reason. I guess you go to get yourself a tasty fig and it drops on you.
So it's not a demon koala because drop bears come out of eucalyptus trees.
Right, of course. Everybody
Right.
knows that.
Yeah.
They drop on you and they suck your blood with their fingertips, but what they also do is they unhinge their jaw
Oh.
and open their toothless, gigantic mouths
Oh no.
I don't like where
and
this is
swallow
going.
you whole.
Oh. So
Yo, what?
they first suck your blood and then they swallow you whole.
Yes,
Swallow your
and
soul.
and after that, they barf you back out shorter than you were.
What?
And if this happens to you enough times and you get shorter and shorter, you eventually become a Yarama Yahoo.
Oh.
Hey, did you lose a few inches? Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you look a little red in the face, you know.
Wait, how are they red?
Because
faces
the
they
Yara
take off?
Yahoo is red. Yarama Yahoo.
it drinks
Their
blood.
blood.
It would give it a ruddy complexion.
So, I mean, the Jersey Devil is cool and all. It has a lot of history and backstory to it, and a lot of
But it ain't
lore.
got shit on this thing.
It's, you know, it doesn't necessarily swallow people and barf them up shorter, is what I'm
No,
saying.
this sounds like something this sounds like something right up your alley.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like that old phrase, if God didn't exist, man would have to create him. If this didn't exist, I would have to create it.
Oh, definitely. Oh,
Oh my god, that picture! Oh, it's wonderful!
I'll
it's a little
maybe have
frog
to-
man.
I'll have to link articles maybe in the comments, or in
That
the
seems-
description.
That seems good. Or you know what? In the background of the video, you could just have the background image change briefly to
Unacceptable.
That
The
sounds like
iconic-
work.
Unacceptable.
come on.
Unacceptable!
A little secondary one of it with its like cute little white eyes, and it's like, "Woo!"
That's a Jonan Vasquez looking drawing.
Dude, it's just too cute to be a cryptid.
Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Gonna eat people and barf them up.
I like it.
I like it.
I
But
like
yeah,
it a
I mean,
lot.
I don't have much I can say about the history, the, stories, where they come from or anything. They just kind of exist, possibly as a way to stop people from stealing figs from your trees. I don't know.
Don't steal my figs.
Yeah,
This
don't.
thing will come and swallow you
That's
and make
right.
you into a creepy little like frog person.
That
and-
seems like good enough a reason. Ugh.
It strikes me a lot like what you would tell like kids or something. Like you would say, "Don't steal the figs," or this creature will swallow you and barf you up, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're full of crap," and then you just point over to a kid they know and say, "Doesn't Jimmy look a little shorter today?" And the kid would be like,
Oh,
I
no.
don't know, maybe, yeah,
Oh,
he
no.
does. Oh,
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, as I said, there's not much more to it than that I know of. I feel like I'm at a loss for backstory.
I give this cryptid a Bigfoot out of 10.
Ooh.
I give it 2. I give it a Ningen out of 10.
And I thought you were going to say it sucked. Get it?
No, not at all.
Speaking of which,
Flew
I'm
right
sorry.
over my head.
I'd forgotten about this until I started poking around the Cryptid wiki.
And
do you guys know about the Ningen?
Is that one of Nintendo's failed systems?
Yeah, they threw it into the ocean, and it turned into its own thing. It
looks like a sad pair of legs from its pictures.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's take a look.
Basically, you remember when Nintendo's Project Dolphin failed, they threw it into the ocean, hoping it would become an actual dolphin, and no, it turned into this.
Aww.
All right. I just wanted to point it out because it's pretty. I'll say in terms of it's not my favorite, but it's one that I actually find genuinely kind of creepy because the idea of something huge emerging from the depths of the ocean is actually something that gives me the heeble-jeebles, if you know what I mean.
That picture on the article just makes me think, Ice King, why'd you create that?
Right?
I don't know.
Look,
I was a little drunk
at the time.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so that pretty much is my entry into the Cryptid Hall of Fame, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
I think it's a good choice. I've never heard of that one before, and now I feel enlightened.
So incredibly insane that I feel like it stands on its own.
Definitely. I'm still waiting to see if the Pathfinder role-playing game will make a monster out of it, because they've made monsters out of every other cryptid that exists.
They should.
I'm sure they will.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they've got bunyips.
They've got bunyips.
I had bunyips once. Very painful.
But yeah, no, it's a good choice.
So
speaking of things that come out of the deep.
Uh-oh.
Well, we're talking about cryptids.
I mean, of course, but I guess that's as good as any segue into my favorite cryptid, which, I mean, it's super obvious. I love Nessie. Nessie's adorable.
Who doesn't love Nessie?
The concept of her, him, whatever.
It.
I prefer to think of it as a she.
He uses female pronouns.
Female pronouns.
It prefers to be called yin. Yin,
What?
yer, yiz, yaz.
Who doesn't love a good Nessie story? Like, those photos have been floating around for ages, the log photos, but like, who doesn't love to think that somewhere in the deepest, darkest pit of, like, their local lake, there isn't some crazy old monster just waiting to like, eat your toes or something like that. Like, seriously, it's the best.
That's what you hope for when you go swimming?
I mean, that's why I'm afraid of going into deep water, but...
I actually concur, because one of my fears is murky water, like immersing myself, like, and looking around underwater when it's murky. I'm always afraid to see anything. I don't care if it's adorable or scary. I don't know. Anything that suddenly emerges from murky water freaks me out.
What if it was $1 million?
Ah!
They just pop out of the lake with one of those big checks, like, "You won $1 million!"
God say, Jack, get out of here!
Oh man.
I guess for me it's more a matter of, like, I'd be like, wait. It's the jump scare.
So do you hope that the Loch Ness Monster is a dinosaur? Do you want to think of it as something supernatural, or...
I mean, it'd be way cooler if it were something supernatural. But, there's always something interesting about being like, oh yeah, it could be a dinosaur lurking in the deep. Like, holy crap, maybe something could have survived in the deepest crevices of the ocean or something like that.
I'd always hope that Nessie was a plesiosaur, That's my thought.
For
Plesiosaurs are cool.
What would that get you?
I mean, it wouldn't get you a cryptid; it'd get you a dinosaur, David. So,
But dinosaurs.
where does your true loyalty
living
lie?
dinosaurs are cryptids.
So alligators are cryptids.
Yes. They're non-cryptids because we've proven that they exist.
I see.
But wait, how do we really know that crocodiles exist?
Ooh,
Crocodiles
you just
confirmed
blew
for
everybody's
question
mind.
mark.
What?
Sorry, I feel like I'm stealing your thunder, Em. Like,
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, like, Nessie is probably one of the most well-known cryptids there is. I'm just guessing, just a guess, but like, what was it? Recently, there was a photo that popped up on Google Earth or something like that made a whole bunch of people start believing in Nessie again. Like,
oh yeah?
it was basically a silhouette from just like deep in the waters of
Loch Ness?
Of like, here, let me pull up a picture of it for you guys. Of just like
For us, not our listeners, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll have to put so many
guys.
links.
No. But just like suddenly there was this creature in the water. It looks, if you look at it, it's kind of like, oh well, that could just be like the wake from a boat, but there's no boat.
I don't see a boat.
But who was boat?
It kind of looks like a giant like horseshoe crab in a way.
Right?
I was thinking like a whale shark.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But why would there be a whale shark?
I don't know. This seems like the shape of the monster changes all the time based on the pictures and stuff. You know.
That's another thing I really like about Nessie is that she isn't really like settled upon, except for, I mean, there was the one that people believed in for a long time with the big old neck, like plesiosaur. But
Yep.
You know what that looks like to me?
what does it look like to you?
That looks to me like a whale about to breach its tail out of the water, like they like to do. Like it was caught the split second before its tail came up out of the water. That's my theory.
Yeah.
As
So
if anybody
that's
gives a
just
crap.
a cryptid theory.
Yeah. Ugh.
Aww.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's disprove all of our cryptids in the
Okay.
next.
Mine's easy to disprove. What woman that you know of gives birth to the devil?
It sit on an airplane with a crying baby and answer
Okay.
that.
Never mind. Actually, mine might actually be the easiest to prove. Come to think of it. But actually, I want to going back to Nessie though. I have a question though, and this is something because there have been sightings in that lake for centuries at this point, right?
Yeah.
So it can't possibly be the same creature unless that creature has been able to live for a very, very long time.
It's a vampire.
Either it's undead, or is long-lived, or it has offspring.
It's just infused with lobster blood.
Maybe there's actually a secret cult-like organization that has been fostering the Nessie population, and every so often they let one out to play in the lake.
Oh my god.
What if it has the lifespan? What if they all just have the lifespan of like a Galapagos tortoise or something?
I mean, yeah, if you think about it, IRL, there are plenty of animals that have like disturbingly long lives. Like tortoises and sea turtles and
Parrots.
whales. And parrots, yeah, parrots.
Fucking parrots. They're so loud, and they will be loud for at least a century.
Love birds. Love them.
I actually like birds. They're so loud.
So Nessie might actually be a giant turtle.
There's
Yeah,
always that
it-
possibility.
Yeah, it could be that.
And the reason they can never find
Huge,
it is because it's gone in its shell.
gross, wrinkly neck.
It's got a really long, wrinkly neck.
I mean, have you ever seen like a snapping turtle or just any sort of turtle stick out its neck?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
super
Yes.
long. It's very unsettling.
Tell
is
me,
true.
what does this represent to you?
Uh-oh. Let's not get all Freudian here, guys.
I'm taking notes, but yes.
Dicks. It's definitely dicks.
Who's been drawing dicks?
Nessie does.
Nessie, get your head out of the shell.
Get your head out of your shell.
I don't know.
That
Get your
just
head out of the
became-
clouds and back in your shell.
That just became like a SpongeBob SquarePants joke. Get your head out of your shell. Let's get going.
We gotta get SpongeBob back.
Gary. But yeah.
You know, couldn't you conceivably say that the cast of SpongeBob SquarePants, if they actually existed, would qualify as cryptids?
Oh yeah.
Weird.
The bikini bottom sponge monster, I guess.
Yeah. Wasn't there some sort of terrible creepypasta about like how the truth behind SpongeBob and how there's like a bunch of mutant animals living under like Bikini Island? As a result of nuclear testing, they all look like that, and Steve Hillenburg went out there and saw them and said, I'm going to make a show about this.
Oh, jeez.
It's a really bad creepypasta.
I know that was essentially the inspiration,
Yeah,
was,
I'd heard
but-
about the inspiration about actually.
Except for the real life creatures part, but yeah.
Right.
Weird.
Well, I mean, because, there'd have to be, if he really saw all these things, there'd also have to be a squirrel with a, like a diving suit.
Right. Maybe
From Texas, no less.
maybe it was just like a furry iguana.
Oh! Then in that case, he saw an actual cryptid and then was just like, oh, it's just a squirrel. And then
Yes.
nothing special happened as a result.
Oh man. That may happen to us every day. Oh look, there goes a chihuahua, and the minute it gets beyond the tree line, it unfolds its arms, and
Yeah.
Takes a pee on a tree.
yeah, and it burns right through the tree.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
But yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess that was our discussion on cryptids. We made, I think, record time.
We really did.
Yeah.
I
that
mean,
was
we
really
can
our
talk more about it if you want.
Well, let's see. Which cryptid would you do out of these three? Marry, do, and kill.
Oh boy.
Bigfoot. Let's see.
Bigfoot.
Chupacabra?
Chupacabra, or I want to keep saying, I keep wanting to say Yeti, even though it's the same thing. But
Well, not
we'll just
necessarily.
do that.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Bigfoot,
I think-
Yeti, Chupacabra.
Okay.
There's a lot of those kind of like cryptids if you think about it, like Yeti, Sasquatch. What's the other one? Bigfoot.
The Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger is a cryptid.
it's true.
What are you doing out here? Stop taking my picture. What do you mean you want to make me a movie star? What? I'm eating berries.
Isn't Harry and the Hendersons basically like a documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes. Now, Harry, if you want to be a star in Hollywood,
I think the reason we keep it's interesting though. Like, yeah, there's a lot of cross. I mean, the giant ape man. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I can't remember any of the terms for them. I know there's a bunch of them, like the mega ape. Yeah, like you said, giant ape man, and
Sort of a megafauna kind of thing.
I know there's one they called old yellow top or something that I don't know whether that's just supposed to be a regular Sasquatch that's blonde or what. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There was some sort of giant ape that apparently existed like right, during the area of I'm not sure which period this was, but along with a lot of the giant mammals, and they found Gigantopithecus. That's what I'm thinking.
That's right.
Gigantopithecus. So some people think that like the Yeti, the Sasquatch, they're just variations of the Gigantopithecus that have survived. And,
Makes sense.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to wonder: are people seeing Gigantopithecus, or are there some wild orangutans wandering around that people are just like, oh no,
Oh no.
Well,
no.
some people, they do have that gigantic, no pun intended, that gigantic python problem in Florida.
oh yeah,
Of people letting them go because they thought they'd be good pets. So maybe there are some, apes out there that people thought would be good pets, and then they let them go.
Mm-hmm.
They had them illegally, and one day they were like, I can't handle this. Out the door you go. Into the woods.
It's like the stories about the alligators that people let go in the sewers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting because there's all this cross, because I don't know what difference there is really between the Yeti, in the Himalayas, you've got and then in the Alps you've got the abominable snowman.
Isn't the
Around
abominable snowman made of snow?
In some cases, I think he is. I don't know. If you go to Disneyland, that one is definitely made of metal parts and
God damn it. The abominable Iron Man, yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, there was you got the Sasquatch in various parts of North America.
And then you've got Littlefoot, but that's actually a dinosaur.
Yeah, and a very sad dinosaur at that.
Especially when you get meta about the whole film, but yeah.
Aww.
Aww.
Don't mind me.
Anyway. And so the conversation died. Well, so the conversation ended, but yeah.
As you know, there's I think that you could go on about cryptids if you really do some digging, but we basically just picked our favorites and talked about a few of the ones that maybe give us the creeps. Oh, there's a very important one I almost forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So, Slime Beast himself is a cryptid, by the way.
That's true.
You guys.
That's very true.
I don't know if you know this, but and he hasn't tried to hide this fact as much. You're from the region of the Carolinas, correct?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. Specifically North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And somewhere beneath the town of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, yes.
Raleigh is supposedly a sewer creature that is some sort of blob or slime entity. It's been referred to as the North Carolina sewer monster.
Which we're trying to change to the North Carolina slime beast, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that could I like that idea. I think they really should listen to you since you are it, basically. And I don't know how you feel about some people have just called you the Carolina poop monster.
Carolina poop monster. Yeah, that works too.
Yeah. So, CPM. What do you think of these allegations about you? In fact, the fact that you were perhaps caught on film in 2009, as late as 2009.
Well, as the well-known and world-famous CPM, I'm going to need to see any registered forms you have before I will answer this. You can speak to my lawyer.
Oh, the cat lawyer?
No, you can speak to my lawyer, who's
down.
also my girlfriend, since I'm CPM. Instead of MCP. You get what I'm saying?
I see what you did there, trust me.
But yeah.
That was mostly for everybody else. But yeah, to give you guys further information about this very bizarre cryptid, and it was revealed by snake camera inspection of sewer piping under the Cameron Village Shopping Center, and the video went viral on YouTube in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amorphous blob-like pulsating fleshy substance.
Oh, cool.
With an apparently stringy texture.
Even though it most likely is worms.
It's some people have said that they're actually tubifex worms, huge colonies of tubifex worms clinging together in the absence of natural soil.
And by the way, when he said snake camera, that was what he was saying, not Snake Cameron. Kirk Cameron does not have a sewer hunting cousin.
For a moment there, I just thought they popped a camera on the head of a snake and sent it down into the sewers, and I was very
The snake saw that and was like, screw this, I'm out of here.
Oh no, I'm out.
That's right.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame the snake.
I've seen some shit.
You know what? I bet you were. I now have a theory though. You were just chilling out in the sewers as you do.
Right.
You saw this snake with a camera on its head come in, and it left such an impression on you that it ended up being in Abandoned by Disney.
Most likely. That's probably what happened. I'm sure the timelines match up perfectly.
I'm sure they do.
I actually, speaking of new cryptids or anything like that, I actually haven't seen any cryptids that are actually like snails or slugs. I think that would be an interesting thing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there could be ones out there I just didn't find, but a giant sea slug would be interesting with like a crashed ship sticking out of its shell, and
But nudibranches are so cute.
yeah, that would be awesome though, wouldn't it?
Little sea bunnies.
Aw. You know what? Actually,
But it would be really cool. Kind of like the giant turtle that's just an island.
Yes.
oh yeah,
definitely.
that thing is great.
And alternately, maybe you could just have a giant hermit crab that has like an old sea lab for a shell.
Sea Lab 2021 for a shell.
There you go. But yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh,
The blank,
The blank.
known to
The
inhabit.
bloop. Do you guys know about the bloop?
Oh, the bloop!
Bloop.
I love
Yes.
the bloop.
Yeah, that one's really interesting.
That was just probably one of the scientists passing gas, and he didn't want to admit it. When
One
he-
could always hope, because if that's not the case, you've got something huge living under the ocean that's getting its little bloopy sound received on every underwater listening post in the world. That's insane.
I prefer to think that it actually is a giant cartoon octopus that, had a bit of gas and, its eyes crossed and bloop. There you go.
There you go.
And for some reason it probably was purple,
I keep thinking of it like those enemies from Super Mario Brothers.
The
bloopers.
bloopers. Yeah. The ones that... The squid with burglar masks for some reason.
But yeah, that's a fair swath of cryptids, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really touch on too many of them, but we did touch on a fair few, and...
We mentioned a couple by name. There's the chupacabra.
Right.
We mentioned the giant apes, a few of
Right.
the sea creatures. Nessie, very important, the Jersey Devil. We learned a thing or two about small Australian red-skinned creatures that suck your blood, eat you, and then puke you back out again.
I mean, in Australia, they have 2-foot-long neon blue earthworms, so they kind of have to go outside the box when they come up with made-up creatures.
That's true, and I have been to Australia. I've seen some shit.
I've been through some shit.
Did you know? Okay, and this is weird to me. When I was there, the magpies there, they have the strangest bird call. I kept saying I didn't know what they were at first, but in the distance I'd hear this, and I'd be like, it sounds like a stereo synth bird. That's just the sound magpies make, apparently. Australian magpies, to me, sound like stereo synth birds.
Oh, yeah,
I thought you
they're
were going to
cute,
say from
aren't
the
they?
distance you just heard, "Why might fancy it on turning the thunderbox?" something to that effect.
Yeah, Australian magpies are super cute too. Look at them. They got they got little white bits and they're adorable.
All right, I'm not linking that, so people, you got to
You're
look it
not
up
allowed.
yourselves.
You're not
You can
allowed.
look that up. And actually, while we're at it, we want to know, what are your favorite cryptids?
That's right.
What cryptids give you the creeps?
I don't want to know.
What cryptids are your favorite? Which ones are your, ones you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley? Maybe the same one. I don't know, but
Right.
Whoa.
have
Hey.
you? Do you have any local cryptids that pretty much nobody has heard of?
Oh
Except
yeah,
for-
definitely like that. That'd be interesting.
Any
Yeah.
lizard men, goat men, anything men? Usually it's something man.
The man-men. They're men made of smaller men.
Looking through the wiki, there are also a lot of different type of Sasquatch, like bat squatch or
Bat-
sheep
bat squatch?
Sheep squatch.
If any of you know about any giant bats,
That'd be
I
nice.
definitely want to know about those in the comments, because bats are cool.
Splendor Squatch.
Splendor.
Oh boy.
So,
Splendor,
So pretty.
Splendor Squatch. The Boggy Creek creature. The Mothman. We didn't even talk about the Mothman.
I like how we've just kind of devolved into just naming things.
Ooh, I got one.
Go for
Well-
it.
No, I didn't actually. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've let everyone down.
Yeah.
So anyway, this has been Jumpscared, and this is the end of it.
All right.
My guests tonight have been David King. You can find him online at youtube.com/midnightmarinara, linked below.
You can also find me on the Benview Network as Midnight Marinara, and if you like Choose Your Own Adventure Stories, I also do a podcast called Pick Your Path, which is as far as I could tell, the world's first choose your own adventure podcast or choose your own adventure style podcast. Because that's copyrighted.
Legal issues. And my other guest has been the notorious Emma, who
also
you can
known
find
online as the Bucket Fox.
The Bucket Fox, eh?
Yep.
She's
You
also
can
her
find
own
me-
cryptid.
Oh yes, I am also my own cryptid.
You can find her wandering the woods in a Sasquatch outfit.
If you see a blue
no, that's
bucket
uncomfortable.
sitting in the middle of the road and you approach it, and a fox with a beret pops out.
No beret.
I sorry, that was my interpretation of it. You can't prove me wrong. We don't know the bucket fox doesn't exist.
I guess that's true.
That's my story. That's how I saw it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So yeah,
But
those
you
are
can
my
find me
guests.
on my-
Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye.